Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Namaste Astu Bhagavan Vishveshwaraya Mahadevaya Trambakaya Tripurantakaya Trikagnikalaya Kalagni Rudraya Neelakanthaya Mrityunjayaya Sarveshwaraya Sadashivaya Shriman Mahadevaya Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om, salutations to all. So, fifth verse of Rudrashtakam. Prachandam prakrishtam pragalbham paresham akhandam ajam bhanukote prakasham trayashula nirmulanam shulapanim bhajeham bhavani patim bhavagamyam. So Bhagwan has been described here some of the qualities. Prachandam. So Prachandam in this context means very terrible, who engages in the destruction of the creation. So that destructive form when Bhagwan takes is very terrible. Prachandam. Prakrishtam. So like we have Utkrishta, exalted. Same way Prakrishta, exalted. In this context, what does it mean? One who is above the body identification. And by body, we don't mean only this physical body. We also mean the subtle body, the causal body, the mind, intellect. One who is not identified with this as I. We are identified with this as Aham. And so the pain of the body is my pain, anger of the mind is my anger. So we say, I am angry, I am hungry, I am tall, I am dark, I am happy, I am sad, I am atheist. So identified with the equipment. One who is exalted, who has risen above this body identification, that is one meaning. Prakrishtam. Prakrishta also can mean one who does exalted deeds, whose actions are exalted, who thinks big, who is not limited by narrow-mindedness, but who thinks for the totality, who keeps the big picture in mind, who has high goals. The highest goal is to realize the truth, the self. So Prachandam, Prakrishtam, then Pragalbham, who is extremely strong and many weak forces can destroy, subdue is the word, can destroy the subdue the negative forces, who has that strength. Next line also speaks about Shula. So we will see about that, these two, how they are connected. So Pragalbham and Paresham. So Isha is the Lord or to rule. Paresha is the Supreme Lord. So there are various forces which govern, which rule. Devatas are there, phenomenal forces, who govern various aspects of the creation. Indra Devata in charge of rains, Varun Devata in charge of the oceans, Vayu Devata in charge of the air, like that. So the whole creation, different responsibilities are there with different devatas. They all rule, they all control, govern, and take care of one aspect of creation. Bhagwan is the ruler of all. So Paresham is the supreme ruler. No one greater than him. Otherwise, a team leader has certain team members with the team leader, and then that team leader has a supervisor. That supervisor has some, manager. Then manager has some CEO. CEO has a director. Like that, it goes. The last one above whom there is nobody. Let us say chairman. Beyond chairman, nobody. Like that, the Supreme Lord, Paresham. So Prachandam, Prakrishtam, Pragalbham, Paresham. So what does that mean? There is nobody superior to him, meaning we have gone to the ultimate authority. We pray to that ultimate authority. We worship that Supreme One who is capable of doing everything for us. We don't have to go to one person. When we worship the Supreme, everything is possible. By the will of that Lord, all the other factors also become conducive. Otherwise, we have to worship separately Rahu and Ketu and Shani and one. We have to propitiate or worship them to ward away any trouble. One whose Ishtadevata Upasana is strong and Ishtadevata is the supreme, one does not have to do anything else. Worship Bhagwan with all devotion, faith, consistency. Everything will be attained through that because he is the supreme, Paresham. If the order comes from the PMO or the PM himself, let us say, then the rest of the bureaucracy has to follow. Wherever, whatever level it may be, state level or in the municipality level, wherever it has come from the top, like that. So, Prachandam, Prakrishtam, Pragalbham, Paresham, each of these words, they have to bring a certain bhav in us when we contemplate. Prachandam is the terrific form of Bhagwan. So when destruction happens, our feeling generally is of fear, sorrow, because we have some attachment. But when we have bhakti for Bhagwan, and destruction is also one aspect of creation, and it is to be viewed as a necessary aspect, and it has to be accepted that if there is life, there is death. And if that is accepted, then we don't resist, we don't fight, we don't fear, we accept. Because that same Lord is also responsible for creation and sustenance. So if I can accept Bhagwan in his creative aspect, his sustenance aspect, then why not in the destructive aspect? The same child who makes the sand castle on the beach, plays with it, enjoys, then destroys it. So, Srishti Sthiti Samhara. In that example, the sand castle, the child is separate and the sand and the castle which is made is separate from the child. But in this, it is Bhagwan only who is appearing as the creation, sustaining it and uh, destroying. So from the Lord creation rises, in the Lord it stays, in the Lord it merges back. If one goes into the depth of that understanding, then there is no fear. Why? Because if we look at a wave, then we feel wave is born, wave stays, wave dies, and oh, wave died, and such a glorious wave it was, all that. But if we see from water standpoint, the wave rose in water, stayed in water, went back to water, nothing has happened to water. Consciousness is the same, that is the truth, that is our nature. If I identify with this, then I will have fear. And that's why this prachandam prakrishtam. If I have prakrishta drishti, my vision is exalted, then the fear of death, etc., will not be there. Abiding in the changeless, one watches the change. Even right now, death is happening. So many cells in our body are dying. But we are not identified with those individual cells, we are identified with the whole body. So there is no grieving for that individual cell which has died, because we know this whole thing is this is me. So as so many cells are dying, new are getting born. This is happening. So many thoughts are coming and going. Every single thought that arises is because the earlier thought has got destroyed. Then the new thought has come. But we are not grieving. We are watching. Thought came, thought is there, thought goes. We are the changeless witness, consciousness. So the more we contemplate on this, the fear of death we drop. Because death will happen to this, which is already dead actually. This is only Panchamahabhut, as good as any other inert equipment. But there is subtle body, and through that the Shiva Tattva is manifesting as life, which when it withdraws, this body will drop dead. So the more I contemplate on this, that which is dead can't die. It is already dead, this body is. Bhagwan's presence enlivens it. That is Prakrishtam, Pragalbham, Prakrishtam. Then Prachandam, that fear will go. Bhagwan subdues all the negative forces. So the negative thinking in our mind, the false identification in our mind, the attachments that we have, they make us fear death. In the Gita, the expression is raga, vita raga, bhaya krodha. So this is one pet expression of the Gita. Vita raga bhaya krodha. So raga if we remove, attachment if we overcome, then fear and anger also will go. Our sorrow is because our fear and anger and of course sorrow is because of some attachment. What is that attachment? To people, to things, to the body. I'm clinging to all these for my identity because I don't know who I am. And that one who removes is the Lord. So, Prachandam, Prakrishtam, Pragalbham, Paresham. So, one can become fearless when one thinks of Prachandam. Prakrishtam, one can rise above body identification and any other attachment. Then Pragalbham, one must have the faith that Bhagwan helps to subdue all the negative forces, destroys. He is in the destroyer aspect. He will destroy all the uh, weaknesses, and he is also the destroyer of those who do evil. So, Pragalbham, Paresham, he is the Supreme Lord. Everything is possible for him. I don't have to look left and right. Bhagwan is Sarva Shaktiman, Sarva Samartha. He will do everything. We have to open up and have the Shraddha and pray. Then Akhandam. There is no break. Khanda means parts. There are no parts. Akhanda, one whole. Homogeneous infinite consciousness. No breaks in it. Our body has a boundary. From the top of the head to the tip of the toe, from the left to the right, there's a form, there's a boundary, there's a limitation. We occupy limited space. Gurudev used to joke, he says some people are less pervasive, some people are more pervasive, but Bhagwan is all pervasive. Meaning he is beyond space also, there is no boundary. In space itself, there is no boundary. Even though it appears like that. So if there's a pot, it appears as though the pot is uh, dividing the space into two, outer space and pot space. But there is no division actually. It is only from the conditioning standpoint. The pot is not and cannot actually divide space because pot is gross. Space is subtle. And if I move the pot from here to here, I don't have to carry the pot space of here to here. Pot moves in the space, inside, outside, everywhere is the space. So the division is only an appearance. Same way, so many jivas are there, the whole Srishti is there, so much we see. None of that affects the Lord. Bhagwan is Akhanda, one homogeneous infinite consciousness. Hundreds and thousands of waves, but ocean is one only. Because it's all water. From wave standpoint, we see okay, division, division, division. Small wave, big wave, bubble, foam, lather. No division from the highest standpoint. So Akhandam, and which also means the consciousness in all of us is the same, one infinite truth. How much the world will benefit if this is understood, that we are one. At consciousness level, we are one. Five elements level also we are one. Our bodies are made up of same five elements. The breath that we are taking is the prana, that is also the same. Water that we are drinking is the same water which has been recycling in this creation. Where is the difference? But when we don't see oneness, when we have narrow vision, then that is dividing, then that creates all kinds of violence and exploitation and so much sorrow. Akhandam, if we have that vision of oneness, unbroken vision, which we can apply at every level. As a family, we are one family. If that Akhanda vision was there, Pandavas and Kauravas, they would not have had a war. Dhritarashtra did not have that Akhanda drishti. He divided Khanda, Mamakaha, Pandava. Psychologically, he divided. See, functionally, of course, there will be division. Functional division is not a problem. Psychological division is a problem. Mamakaha, Pandavaha. Pandu's children and my children. Functionally, of course, they have different source. These are children born to Pandu and Kunti and Madri. These are children born to Gandhari and Dhritarashtra. There is a functional division. But to say that these are my children, so they are more dear, and I will go to any extent to fulfill their desires, even break dharma, that is psychological division, that is attachment. So one family, one community, one country, if that vision is akhanda is not there, akhanda, that is because we identify with the small. Well, that's why the word here, no, prakrishtam. We have to have exalted vision, high vision, not with the pettiness, identify the limited. Akhandam. Because our nature is akhanda. We are one infinite consciousness. How much will we identify with little, 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 and then keep on having conflicts? So prachandam, pragalbham, paresham. Then comes akhandam, unbroken. Ajam, who is unborn. That which is born will die. So when it was said prachandam, Bhagwan takes terrible form. If there is birth, then there is death. If there is life, there is death. But one who is unborn, if we lift our vision from this body which is born, who was I before this body? Just imagine. Swamiji, I was in the womb of my mother. Okay, before that, or in some other body. Between that, oh no, Preta Sharira. After Preta Sharira, oh, somewhere in some other loka. Okay, even if you take this logic, so many bodies you have taken, that means you are not those bodies, no? So you left one body to another, left that body to another. So who are you? If I ask myself, who am I? And if I drop this body, what will happen? Take another body. This will go on. I am that unborn consciousness. The moment I realize that, we get free from the cycle of birth and death. Ajam. Refuse to believe that I am the body, refuse to accept that I am born. Because that is the root cause of our sorrow, birth. Thinking that I am body is the root cause of my sorrow, Dehatma Bhav. And anything that sustains, feeds, encourages the Dehatma Bhav has to be dropped. So the wrong notion it is, I am born. The body is born, body grows, body will die. I am not born, unborn. The Gita keeps giving that knowledge. Arjuna was given this supreme knowledge in the Gita, in the battlefield. Bhagwan told him that you are unborn. That which is born has to die, and that which is dead will be again reborn. Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityu dhruvam janma mritasya cha. Tasmad apariharyate tatra ka paridevana. Why are you miserable for that? Because you are not that. Ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Ajaha, you are Ajaha, unborn, Nitya, eternal, Shashvata, permanent. Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Purana, you are the most ancient, yet ever new, meaning changeless. Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Purano, na hanyate hanyamane sharire. You will not be destroyed if the body is destroyed. Alexander wanted to take one Mahatma from Bharat because his guru Thoreau had told him, you bring one realized man from, you bring Tulsi, you bring Ganga, you bring realized man from Bharat. So Tulsi and Ganga he got very easily. Then it sent his people, go find some realized man, take him with us. They went and found that that realized Mahatma is sitting happily below a tree. He doesn't want anything. Somehow they found from some villagers and this and that, and then they said he is a realized person. So they came saying, come with us. He said, why? He said, Emperor Alexander the Conqueror has called you. He said, I don't want to meet him. I'm very happy here. So it is not bothered. He said, do you know he has conquered half the world? He is most powerful. Maybe, not bothered. We will capture you. We will put you in jail. They took him, put him in the jail. He is not bothered. He is in bliss even in that jail. So that Alexander comes and said, my teacher wanted a realized man. So I asked for you. You could have just come. What was the problem? Why did you not come? Why did they put you in the jail or unnecessary? Just come with us. He said, but I'm not interested in going anywhere. So Alexander said, I am the most powerful king in the world. I have conquered half the world. Name your price. Ask anything you want and I will give you. And the realized man said, what? He said, you move. That's all I want. Why? You're obstructing the sunlight. Alexander got so irritated and angry. And he is such a great conqueror and he can give him anything. And he was giving him the offer and in return he was just wanted him to come. But this man is not accepting anything and in fact he's saying, you just move. I just want the sunlight. Nothing else I want. He's so fulfilled. But he is angry. Alexander is very angry looking at him. He takes out his sword and he says, I will slay you. I will cut off your head. I will kill you. That Mahatma, he said, you can kill me. Even as you see the body drop, I will see this body drop. Alexander could not fathom what he said. That I will kill you, and this man has no fear of death. And he's saying, even as you see this body drop, I will see the body drop. That is Ajam. Why? Because body is born, body will die. We are infinite consciousness. The more we reflect on that, no fear of death. It comes, it comes. Body will die. We will watch. After the body is dead also, we will watch. Even as a jiva, forget consciousness. That's what our Shastra says. And so many people who have had near-death experiences, read about them. This NDE, near death experience, is the expression coined by Dr. Raymond Moody. He met people, thousands of people across the world belonging to different cultures who have had near death experience, meaning who have been declared dead or who have just gone out of the body and again come back into the body. So they were declared dead, some of them not officially declared dead, but they experienced it. They went out of the body as though dead, again came back. Those who were officially declared dead, also some of them have come back and risen. So all of them, they said what? We felt so liberated, exalted when we were out of the body, so happy. To be in the body is a misery. They didn't want to come back. But some karma pulled them back into the body because they had to exhaust it. So they are back. Now the point is what? That we at this moment identified with this, we feel that, Arey, what will happen to me when this body will die? No, no, I don't want death. I will be taken away from all people. I will lose everything that I have acquired, accumulated. Clinging, our attachment to the body is very strong. But if we let go of that, contemplate, I am Ajaha, in unborn, in consciousness. Even if I don't think of consciousness, as a jiva also, when one is out of the body, one will see literally the body is there down. Body is buried, body is burnt. This is what they are doing to the body. I am different. The jivatma can see clearly because the subtle body is gone out of the gross body. All the capabilities of seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, they all are there in the subtle body. And subtle is always more powerful than the gross. So through the preta sharira, one will see. If one has that attachment, one is near the body, one sees, one can even understand the feelings of people who are around the body or who are related to the jiva. Because one is in the astral state, in a subtle body. But the person who has no attachment doesn't even wait there, keeps going. Chhoot gaya. Go. That's why the example of clothes is given. Changing the clothes. Old clothes are dropped, new clothes are taken up. So even as a jiva, no attachment to the body, we will be free. As Ajam, unborn, is our exalted state. So, Akhandam, Ajam, Bhanukoti Prakasham. Bhagwan is resplendent like crores of suns, meaning his nature is light, effulgence, brilliance, consciousness. Earlier it was said like Manmatha, no? Manobhuta Koti Prabha Shri Shariram. Like crores of Kamdev, like that here, crores of suns. Then Trayashula Nirmulanam, Trayashula, three sources of sorrow. Nirmulanam, who removes completely from its root, not relief, cure, complete removal of it from its source. What are the three causes of sorrow? Adhidaivik, cosmic forces, earthquake, rain, the cyclone, storm, so many of these. Need not be only massive natural calamities, even something lesser, which is from the cosmic forces, just strong winds. So, Adi Bhautik challenges that come to us from the beings around us, living beings, whoever it may be. It may be some animals, it may be some trees, it may be some people, from the living beings around we get some trouble. And then from the subjective difficulties, internal disturbance, agitation, sorrow, depression, attachment, all that. One who destroys these three from its root, nirmulanam. So does it mean that a realized person does not face the challenges from these three? So does a realized person not have experience of any natural calamities or disturbance from beings around or from within the mind. Nirmulanam literally means remove from the root. So, what is the root cause of these three? The sorrow caused by these three is the sorrow because of identification. It's not sorrow by itself. A natural calamity happens. Yes, there is destruction, there is a challenge. Beings around us can disturb, but it's our choice how to respond to that. If we are identified having some strong attachments and we get overwhelmed, then that will disturb us completely. One who is anchored within the changeless, within the bhav of surrender to Bhagwan, stay strong. It comes, there is no doubt. Even a realized person will face natural calamities, will face the disturbance from beings. In fact, they face more disturbance from beings than us. Because what they are trying to do, people can't understand. In fact, they think that they are hurting or harming or confusing us. So they even criticize, condemn. Some of them get crucified. All that happens. But not affected. Why? Because anchored within. So even mind can create sometimes certain challenges, but they watch. This is a mind going through it. I am not going through it. So Trayashula Nirmulanam, one who destroys from the source, from the root, by destroying false identification. And that's why Shula Panim, one who has Trishul in his hand. So Trishul, the three pointed tips of the Trishul. Trishul is the weapon. Why does Bhagwan hold a weapon in the hand? So many gods of ours, they all have weapons. They are giving the message that actively resist the evil. Inside us, outside us, any evil is there, any adharmic forces are there, one has to resist. Not meekly surrender and give in and allow them to trample upon us, destroy us. Adharmic forces have to be fought, they have to be won over. We can't be passively submitting to them. In the name of ahimsa, one can't be the name of tolerance and acceptance and accommodating and secular and all that. One can't just allow anybody to come and destroy us. Why are the gods having weapons? To fight against evil forces. And there is evil inside us also. So I have to fight the evil tendencies within as well as without. We can't say evil is only inside me, it is not at all outside there. And outside, if anybody comes and attacks, it's all right, let them kill us. If they give one slap, you show the next cheek. That is stupid philosophy. Our philosophy doesn't say all that. Our philosophy says have ahimsa, the bhav of ahimsa, that I don't want to hurt anybody and I will not hurt anybody. But if somebody comes and hurts in self-defense, I have to protect myself. Even legal, the courts, etc., will accept that in self-defense, if you have done things to protect yourself and if somebody has attacked you, there's nothing wrong in that. One is not going out and killing people and destroying them and looting, and that one doesn't do. But if somebody does, so Bhagwan has Trishul to symbolize that active resistance against evil. Gurudev used to use this expression, active resistance to evil. That's the creed of the Gita. In his Holy Gita commentary, so many places it comes. Not to actively resist evil and to give in is adharma. Body also, if it doesn't resist the virus, it will die. It has to fight. The immunity system has to fight out the virus. Only then we can be alive. If the body says, no, no, ahimsa, I will not fight, we are finished. So, Shula Panim. Bhagwan has Trishula. And what does he do? This Nirmulanam and Shula Panim, we have to take it together. This Pragalbham, all that is connected. The three tips of the Trishul are to destroy what? Our identification with three gunas, our identification with these three tapas, Adhidaivik, Adhibhautik, Adhyatmik, our identification with the three bodies, with the three states of awareness. One who removes that nirmulanam, shulapanim, because he is shulapani. He removes our three eshanas, three desires, putra eshana, vitta eshana, loka eshana. Like that, where many different symbolisms are given. Who destroys our karma asakti, bhoga asakti, jnana asakti, who destroys all these. And finally, who destroys that ignorance and helps us to come out of the cycle of samsara. So, Shulapanim, Bhajeham, I worship that Supreme Lord who is Bhavani Patim. Bhavani Patim means the Lord who is the husband of Bhavani, and he is called Bhava. Bhava and Bhavani. So we say Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami. कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी sahitam namami. So many people chant bhavam bhavami sahitam namami. What is bhavami? Bhavami is a different word in Sanskrit. It is bhavani. Bhavam bhavani. Bhavam is Shiva, Bhavani is Mother Parvati. So that is Bhavani Patim. Bhava means one who helps us to just be, not to become. Bhu bhavati can also mean to be and not to just keep on becoming. That becoming is, there's nothing wrong in becoming at certain level where I want to become a better person, become a positive person, become a happier person, selfless person, all that. But how much ever I keep becoming, I will still be limited. One who helps us to go beyond becoming and anchor in being is Bhava. So that Bhavani Patim. Bhavani Pati is also Maya Pati. That's another meaning here. Bhavani Pati. Because Bhavani is the Adi Parashakti who is responsible for the creation, sustenance and destruction. And Bhava here represents the Purusha. So Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha means not a man. Purusha is a consciousness. The power of consciousness is Maya. So using Maya, one who creates, sustains and destroys is Bhavani Patim. Bhavagamyam. How do I realize the Supreme? Bhagwan is realized through bhavana, through our feeling, through devotion. Bhagwan does not bother how much you have offered, what you have offered. Bhav with which it is offered is important. Of course, what is offered, how it is offered has its own role. One can't say that, oh, Bhagwan doesn't bother, so take anything and offer. No, no. Shastra says what to offer, how to offer, what Bhagwan likes, all that. But more important than what is offered is how it is offered. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati. You may offer a fruit, a flower, a leaf, a drop of water. If you can't offer anything else, even any of this is okay. But bhaktya prayachati, with great bhav. Bhavagamyam. Bhagwan is realized through bhav. He is beyond bhav, bhavatita. But the bhav in us will help us to focus. This word bhav is very important in meditation. If you say my mind is wandering, Swamiji, then invoke bhav because Bhagwan is bhavagamyam. Invoke bhakti bhav, love for Bhagwan. Then the mind will not wander. Where there is love, there is single pointedness. So this is a beautiful shloka. We will meditate on this today.